buddy. Come on out, shut the door. Don't let the dogs out. Alright, so you got everything?
Yep, got the trophy and the demon scroll.
Alright, let's get set up. Alright, so we'll get set up.
Right here, Bethel?
Sure, this looks like a good spot. Remember the 5 points. You want to go, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start down there. Go 1, 2. Down. No, next one up. Okay. Yeah, you kind of made yourself a little not enough room, but it's alright. Let's see that.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. This side. Okay. Alright, go ahead and stand up and get ready. You remember the hand signals? Are you ready? Alright, go ahead and do it. No? Yeah, there you go. Don't look right. Let me see that scroll. You can read Latin, you can't read cursive.
So there's like one part that I missed of cursive.
Hey, my creative tribe. Episode 5. As you can see, I changed the intro. It's going to be a work in progress. It's working towards the CG for the movie I want to start shooting in April of next year. That's my goal. Let's see if we can get there. There's a lot of things that gotta come together. There's still a lot of equipment I need. I still got a lot of techniques to master. So I'm giving myself that year to get there. But it's been an interesting month. I went and shot the commercial for Frank. I've added a lot more equipment. That's why the change, and I don't have my selves here with me. Me, myself, and I. It's getting really crowded in here, and I have more to do. Plus, I really need to motivate myself to get out and shoot in different locations under different settings. As that skit you saw, I shot with like 20 minutes with my grandson this afternoon, but I had some lighting problems, so I really need out and shoot more in open exposures and that, so I can get that settings down a little, lock it down a lot better. But it was a quick film, so it was, but it's still, I should have caught that while filming. But it's hard to shoot yourself and catch everything. But it was good working with my grandson. My eldest grandson, he's busy with his girlfriend, which is fine. So this upcoming month, I've got an interview with some authors for the next episode, which it's going to be a live interview for me. I've done 2 Skypes now, and you'll see that today. I'm still having some audio issues, but that's more down to hardware, which it's on my list of things to improve. So I got a lot going on this coming month. I don't even know all yet what I've got going on. I have worked on some edits on the book. It's coming along slowly. I'm worked on the script. There's just a lot going on. But we're going to keep this short so I can get to the other things in the show today. We've got the Creative Spotlight, which is very awesome. And then we've got my mind went blank. I've gone away from the teleprompter, but that means I have to be more free-flowing with my vocabulary and know what I'm talking about. And apparently my brain just went, the book edit. And tips from the road. So let's get started with our Creative Spotlight of the month.
Hey y'all, welcome to my Creative Tribe to our Creative Spotlight. This is Eric Moser, a very talented author. I want to thank you for taking the time out to join us here this month. He has written the Community College Hero, among other things. It's an interactive fiction. Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about interactive fiction?
Well, interactive fiction, to my understanding, it kind of goes back to the 80s when we were all growing up, our generation, with the choose your own adventure type of games. I think generally it's any kind of story where the reader has some impact on the narrative. And so that could be anything from the books where you would just choose from maybe 2 choices and then go to the certain page. And then that goes all the way up through the old parser games, and then all the way up to 2018, where we have some fairly sophisticated programs that do more than allow choices from the reader, but they do things like remember events, keep track of statistics and attributes, even provide, random events. So that's a lot more sophisticated than it was, but there's all sorts of interactive fiction.
That's right, and I'm a big fan of interactive fiction. I've been at it a while too, but he beat me to the punchline. He got it out there, but he's a fantastic writer. You should check out his work. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Community College Hero and then other things you've got going on along with that or other projects?
Okay, well, I started writing Community College Hero back in 2013, and it took a couple years for me to finish it. And basically the premise is sort of a bunch of low-powered, young people with abilities that aren't all that special, but they're, possibly good enough to justify some training. And so the story was basically about a small kind of community college in a red state, kind of middle America, in Nebraska, opens up, creates a location for these people to be able to train. And of course, as you would expect, all the students, including you as the main character, are caught up in something much greater than you anticipated being involved in, involving higher-powered people, both heroes and villains. And I kind of designed it to be a little bit, less formal than some of these other superhero stories. I tried my hardest to kind of write them as real people who had personalities and were fully formed and just happened to have some sort of low-level ability, but that certainly was not their defining characteristic. So that was a story I spent about 2 years on in writing it in ChoiceScript, which is a programming language that the publisher Choice of Games has developed and provides to people free of charge if they want to try their hand at creating an interactive novel. So I ran across the publisher, on the App Store. I ran across some of their stories. I enjoyed reading them, and then I thought I would try my hand at it. And so it was released back in December of 2015. It is, it's been had a positive response from the audience. It's been really fun, talking to readers, interacting with folks. And then I've actually finally got the sequel finished. It was submitted to the publisher in February, and I anticipate it will be released, in the first half of 2018.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm next in the queue, whatever that means, but don't have any sort of date. But it's available on App Store, Google Play.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Eric.
Okay, my back, great.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. I will not get too close to the phone now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've got a couple other projects I'm working on. I was working on a fantasy legal thriller called Talon City, and I'm actually working on that as a novel, a traditional type of novel. And then I just started working on a little side project last week, kind of a sci-fi space opera with a kind of a community college hero vibe as well.
That's awesome. I look forward to that. You'll have to have to text me when that comes out, and I'll let everybody know. So what do you have any conventions coming up or anything that you're going to be at?
Probably not until Imaginarium. Here in Louisville, the convention kind of calendar has changed a lot in recent years. We used to have Derby City Comic Con in the summer, and has been transformed into a bigger convention, but that's not until the end of the year. Imaginarium is the first week of October, and I will be there. I am a guest panelist, and I'm talking to obviously the folks who run that to try to at least have a panel on interactive fiction at Imaginarium.
Yeah, Holly and Stephen run a great Imaginarium. I love going. This will be their 5th year, so I'll be excited to see you there. I'm hoping I can be in when you hold you're having yours. So, any big plans coming up other than the current projects?
Well, I mean, really the main thing is making sure Community College Hero 2 is published hopefully in the next 90 days or less. I've just developed a new website. It's called fictionbyericmoser.com, and I just created that just a few weeks ago with WordPress, and I've got a lot of content on there. I'm also going to be having an art contest. It's second annual. I had one last year, and some really quality entries. I was really pleasantly surprised by
those. Those
quality.
Were really good.
Oh yeah, I mean the one that ended up winning, and I left it up to the votes. I put votes out on the COG forums and Twitter and Facebook, and the one who ended up getting the most votes, I spoke with her, and we negotiated rights for me to use that image for commercial purposes. So there's all sorts of CCH gear with that winning art on it at redbubble.com, where there's just search by Community College Hero. There's a lot of gear, and you'll see what that looks like as well.
Yeah, and you can get the College Community Hero on pretty much any app right now. Google, it's still on Apple, right?
Yeah, the Community College Hero, which is subtitled Trial by Fire, is on App Store, Google Play. It's on actually Amazon App Store as well. And then the big one is Steam. I was one of the first hosted games that the public put on Steam.
Yeah, that was exciting, and I'm glad to see that you made it. So, is there anything else you want to cover, and where can we find you online?
Well, no, I really have enjoyed talking to you tonight. You can find me online several places. The one I'm really trying to encourage people to go to is my website. Again, it's fictionbyericmoser.com. And then if you go to the website, on the bottom left, there's a portal to sign up for what I call my reader appreciation group. And that's where I like to give some freebies out, short stories, previews of things. Like I've got a new comic strip with an artist, Gluck Blanger. We're developing the comic strip together. And so I give like sneak previews of things like that too. So really, if you just go to the website, that's the main thing. And also you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for Fiction by Eric Moser on either of those.
Well, what I'll do is I'll link all your information down below when we put the video out on the first. So I really appreciate you taking time out to do this, Eric. I know you're a busy guy, and it was really awesome talking with you, and I'll definitely see you in Imaginary.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I've already got it marked off my calendar.
I've had it marked off since the last one.
Awesome. So, my tip from the road. This is gaff tape. This is something photographers use to tie down cables, identify tripods, and that. But it's a very... Oh, I do have a co-host. Stinker Butt, say hi. But it's a very durable tape. It's not real sticky, but it'll still stick. And it's pretty strong, but yet easy to tear. Well, I accidentally carried it out with me on the truck. I got 3 or 4 rolls of this, and it is so versatile. I was able to take a strip, twist it up, and I was able to tie off a pigtail that had come loose because the bracket was broken. I was able to tie open or tape open a barn door on a trailer. I have found probably 6 or 7 uses. It's really versatile stuff, and it's just, so I would suggest drivers get this. This is a handy little thing. You can get them on Amazon, and it's just called gaff tape, but really useful. So that's my tip from the road. So we have Orphan Surfacing by Nathan Day. Excellent book. It's a very dark book. He's the type of writer that is very descriptive about the surroundings and the situation, and he sets a very dark tone. It's a kind of God disappears from the world kind of thing. It's more than that, but it was a slow read for me because I'm not the type of reader that enjoys a lot of descriptive background. To me, that slows a story down. But that's just me. But I read through it, and even though it's not something I tend to enjoy, well, I enjoy the books even if they have a lot of description. But to be honest, I kind of skip over them. But in his book, I made an effort to go through him, the whole thing, and it was a slow read for me, but it was very interesting. It was a really well-written book, so you should check it out. I don't want to really give any spoilers, but yeah, there's a lot of characters, a lot of character development, and there's just a lot happening in the story, so you really can't skip over the descriptive parts because some of it ties in together. So, some books I can get away with. This one was not one of them. So it took me almost all month to read this because it was a bit slower read for me. But on a scale 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll get to he does have a video out introducing himself, and I will link that down in the dilly-a-doo. But I've got a lot still to do, so you all have a wonderful month. Create something awesome, and I'll see ya!